Well, let's turn right now to the Chief RNC Strategist and Communications Director for the RNC, Sean Spicer, who joins us from our nation's capital.
Good morning.
Morning, Sean.
Morning. Good morning, guys.
With the new administration, how will the response to terror strikes like this change?
Well, I think it's going to be swift and fierce. Mr. Trump has made it very, very clear that he understands the threat that radical Islamic terrorism poses to our nation and, frankly, to our friends and neighbors around the globe, and that we've got to be able to call it what it is and then root it out by its by the bottom. We cannot be being politically correct. We've got to understand the threat that we face and attack it straight on.
Sean, you know, this morning, it was a kind of a contrast of two statements in reaction to this. This is the statement President-elect Trump put out this morning saying, these terrorists and their regional and worldwide networks must be eradicated from the face of the earth, a mission we will carry out with our freedom-loving partners. But also, our own Pentagon put out a statement saying this: we are deeply saddened by today's horrendous events at the Christmas market in Berlin, and it has a few lines in there about thoughts and prayers, and then continues by saying the United States stands firmly with the German people during this time of national sadness, and we offer any support they may require. You see, eradicating from the earth versus sadness. I mean, do you think that's what the American people are looking for, strength in the face of this vicious enemy?
Well, I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think during this holiday period, to see what happened yesterday in Berlin and, frankly, to the envoy there in Turkey is just saddening. The loss of life, any life, is just not something that should be tolerated ever, especially at this holiday time. With people at a Christmas bazaar, to be able to go there with their families and feel that they have to be under threat of their lives is just disgusting and reprehensible. So I don't think there's mutually exclusive. I think as Christians, as Americans, we all feel for our brothers and sisters around the world when there's a loss of life or a tragic incident that threatens their way of life. So, but I think at the end of the day, we can feel sad, we can offer our condolences, but we also have to be vigilant in how we're going to attack this threat that we face.
So how are you planning on doing that? He says he wants to eradicate terrorists from the face of the earth. How do you do that?
Well, I think part of it is calling it what it is, which is what he's done. First off, recognizing the threat head on. And then secondly, getting together all of the appropriate agencies and principals and creating a plan, which he's talked about doing day one as far as his 100-day plan, and making sure that that is a top priority and a focus of every agency, understanding the threat that we face and the measures that we have to take, politically correct or not, to make sure that America is first and foremost safe.
Right. Sean, of course, yesterday the Electoral College officially made it Donald Trump's going to be the next president of the United States. It's interesting. One of the electors in the state of New York was Clinton, and Bill Clinton still blaming the FBI and Russia for the loss. It's interesting, a couple of days ago he took a shot at your boss and our next president. When asked if Donald Trump is smart, he said he doesn't know much. One thing he does know is how to get angry white men to vote for him. And now this morning, your boss, apparently offended by this, has started tweeting about Bill Clinton. The first one reads, Bill Clinton stated that I called him after the election. Wrong. He called me with a very nice congratulations. He doesn't know much, especially how to get people, even with an unlimited budget, out to vote in the vital swing states and more. They focused on wrong states. It's sounding like the next president is taking a shot at a former president.
Well, let's look. I mean, I think you correctly pointed out where this started. Look, but let's walk this back. They thought this was going to be a coronation of Hillary Clinton. They had fireworks all ready to go in the Hudson. Then they lost. They were shocked. I get it. They spent a lot of time in the woods taking selfies. Then after that, they funded a recount effort, and they ended up losing votes in the recount effort in Wisconsin. So they lost that. Then they went after electors and intimidated them, tried to undermine the process that we follow in our electoral college. And not only did they fail at it, but Hillary Clinton lost 5 electors in that. She lost 3 to Colin Powell, 1 to Faith Spotted Eagle, and 1 to Bernie Sanders. The double irony of all of this is Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate who did place third, got less electoral votes than Colin Powell, who didn't even run.
I think it's official. The Democrats are now 0-3. Trump won on election night. He won with the recount, and he just won with the Electoral College.
Right. I do think that they're going in the wrong direction. At some point, they need to stop, look in the mirror, face reality, understand. their campaign, their message, their candidate that was the problem. But if they want to keep going in this direction, as a Republican, I'm more than happy to keep them going. And they got number 4, 5, and 6 losses coming up. I'm all for it.
Well, Jill Stein walked away with fewer votes, but she did walk away with $7.5 million.
True.
That's right.
Yeah, no,
which is more than Hillary did.
That 4th and 5th step, your strategist, you think about these things. What are you anticipating they're going to try to do next to discredit the president?
Well, I think that when you've now gone to losing 3 in a row, if you will, at some point, hopefully, if you're in a smart establishment or organization, elders sort of step up and say, ladies and gentlemen of this organization or this party in this case, we need to look ourselves in the mirror and figure out what's going on. The opposition, despite our differences with them, have cleaned our clock at every level. Yeah. Local, state, federal. At some point, we need to come to grips with who we are as a party, and maybe we're not resonating, the message isn't resonating, maybe the candidates that we're putting up aren't attractive to the electorate. Sure. But look, that's what a good organization would do, or a good party, but I'm happy with the direction they're going.
Sure. Well, even though you're in Washington, work goes on at the Tower and down at Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach County. I know there are 2 big cabinet-level jobs that still have to be filled, and then other important jobs like press secretary. Any word who that person might be?
Well, I think President-elect Trump is down at Mar-a-Lago right now meeting with a lot of qualified individuals, as he has for the last 40 days, and he's going to continue to do that, and I would expect, some announcements over the next couple days. But he's got a lot of big positions to fill. That agriculture secretary, the VA secretary is something that's near and dear to his heart. He cares about veterans and the care that they're getting, and so I think he's going to continue to make this a priority for him. The U.S. Trade Representative is another big one that he is concerned about. So there's some big positions left on the table that he's spending a lot of time interviewing some really unbelievable candidates for those positions.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
All right. Sean Spicer, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us from our nation's capital.
Thanks, guys. Have a Merry Christmas if I don't see you again.
Merry Christmas indeed.
Merry Christmas indeed. All right.
All right.